partially blind, still sprays through. And I think they tripped over themselves a little bit, not only with the flash, but just having two toward the stairs that weren't really sure where to look. Next gets back in, but Apex catches him off. I thought he had the jump on that.
That flashbang defined the entire round there. If Gopi doesn't get flashed by that and he manages to swing off it, he probably gets 2 kills. It was really well timed. Unfortunately for him, as soon as he did get blind, they knew exactly where he was on the other side of that corner. And Zywo and Apex start to go to town as very clumsy from the CTs on the retake there. And they will find themselves in a little bit more of a troubling position at this point. It's going to be round 12, a UMP for Gopi. It's RPK, though, finding the majority of the frags as they always seem to claw back into these rounds. We go 6-5. They have the advantage here as the CTs go aggressive. We yet to see the most out of Zantares. 3 kills to his name, but he could get one here. Not quite. Alex actually outduels him completely, but it still goes down to the 4-on-4.
MBK around the corner, already checking it. Flash this time. Do they anticipate twice? It's the same flash they wanted to throw last time to get Godby in. They read that. They check the corner. He's making a lot of noise, MBK, but do they check it this time? Not quite. 2 is going to work for Godby. Smoke not down. Flames to get away. Not going to happen if Zywo's in position. He won't be able to spot towards CT, mind you, but he is anticipating that Tabson could put himself up on the ticket booth. Either way, he'll hold the angle, try and get his teammates in farther, but no one spotting toward the top of the stairs, and his head still showing. Easy shot, I have to say. Apex pulls it back. Still, though, oh, Tabson's got to hit those, because there's no smoke at CT. They could be caught on it. Flash, that puts him off the angle, just enough for RPK to spray in, and he does so successfully, but he won't put Tabson down. That's when Tizian works back to Connector, and at Connector, he'll get a crossfire setup, but he's lost his teammate. Now they can play safely, plant the bomb toward default. Tizian can't do much about it.
Well, he spotted one player towards spawn, so he separated them in that sense. You know, there's a planter and a CT player. Apex, though, on the ticket booth, he's scoped in, but it doesn't seem to stop him at all. Nice shot from him. It was a bit of a gamble to jump over and get the AWP, but he successfully does it. Closes out the round. RPK finding kills once again. Gopi, like he said, same position. Got baited in by teammates again, and then they followed up the incendiary to allow him to try and retreat. But Zywo so quick on the AWP, took him down before he had a chance. And this is where Apex made the jump, managed to get the AWP, and then close out the round. It is going to be 6-6, and money should be broken for the big squad. They have got 6K on next after saving a couple of times. He's currently got 12 kills as well. They're very top there. 4 big. Next will get to Deagle armor and a flashbang. The rest of them, as you can see, 5.7s and PT50s. Should be a vitality round, but they've given up to these pistols before. 4 AKs, AWP. And there's still an important one for vitality. Can't afford to lose this round again. They would be reset. We continue here. You can see not too much of a stack from either side, really. Big will just be playing 3 towards the A side of the map. And they've lost Tabson. That's going to be Apex opening things up. Zantares, 3 and 11. I haven't seen those numbers from him before. He's usually at the very top, looking very comfortable. But I would say this will be a T side of affair for him. That's where he can do most of his damage, let off the leash a little bit. They've had a rough start here. Well, actually, they had a fantastic start. The mid stage is where all started to go wrong.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's been back and forth, right? 2 rounds ago, we saw a round in hand for Big, and then Vitality answered that call, just as they did having lost the pistol. They may have gone down 4-0, but rounds 2 and 3, they got 4 and 3 kills respectively, leaving just SMGs in the second one. They forced out a lot of money, and it's really been a game of momentum at this point in time, but neither really wanting to give up much. In fact, not wanting to give up pistols this time. It seems Big's going to back off, try and save it. They do have a lurk outside of the vent position. That is Apex, and he's got a kill for his troubles. MBK, does he get spotted by Godby? Pistol obviously was picked up, so that made it pretty easy to anticipate the arrival, but Apex is going to catch off Godby, and it goes to 7 for Vitality. They're back in the lead.
They certainly are. After a 0-4 deficit, Vitality are back in the driving seat. I have to say, the coordination not looking as spot on as I expect from Big. We haven't really seen them present anything super aggressive apart from on their pistol or SMG situations. And they go into another round here with Tizian on the MP9. He plays that B side, remember. Tabson back on the AWP. He is now top fragging with 13. Smokes towards middle. We'll see if we have any sort of change of setup here. We have got Tabson dropping down towards that connector, I'd assume. He actually holds up towards the underpass right now. He's actually in a smoke. This could prove problematic, but he seems to be doing very well with it. Jumping through the smoke again. Taken down, though. RPK continues his rampage here on Mirage. RPK battling in towards the Palace area. Just trying to bait out some utility here from the CTs. Showing some presences once again. We're actually focusing more on the B side of the map. With Tizian pushing through the MP9. He actually manages to get himself right towards the mouth of the B apartments there, waiting for a close-range kill. Same story for God B at the A ramp.
Alex still just holding out, you're right. Copy has been quite aggressive in this position. This time beyond the tunnel. Twice he was at the corner. Didn't really account for that angle though, did he?
No, not at all.
Alex had an easy one. Spotted at his feet and just fired into it. Sontaras wants to get back in. You can even see him close his eyes in disappointment that he was blinded this time. He'll go down because of it, and he doesn't look too enthused. And I think they're backing out again. So it's going to be Vitality on 8. AWP saved for Tizian. And Nex wants to keep the AUG in his hands.
It's difficult to think the Big have only really got a couple of gun rounds under their belt. Remember, they won the pistol, and the second up, force buy from Vitality. They managed to take that down against Galil's. They were up 4-0, lost 4 in a row, then won with the pistols themselves. So 2 gun rounds in total, and you can see Sontaras 3 and 13. Odd to see him with those sort of stats, but overall, it is going to be Vitality taking the lead even further here as they get 8 rounds on the board. And it's up to just a couple of CTs here to hold on to the AWP and the AUG. Whether they'll do that is yet to be seen. Tizian could be in a spot of bother here as his teammate goes down. They've got time to check him. He won't let it kill both of them. He'll get one, but dropped, and that's going to be Vitality have a huge advantage here in round 15. They needed that AWP and the AUG as his Tapster did such great work. They find advantages, no problem. It was just such a compromised position there after jumping down towards the underpass of the AWP. And here comes Alex just to take down Sontaras, who was very blind in the process. They won't have much to work with here. 4 MP9s and a FAMAS. Do they go for a push, or do they hold up in crossfires? I would say you have to push somewhere. Try and get a kill back, get a rifle.
Gobby goes aggressive. This is the push. The flashes for him have been very unfortunate. Either he's a step further than they anticipate, or they're just not throwing them correctly because he gets blinded again on a golden opportunity to run around the corner and find 2. For his sake, thankfully, Sontaras was trailing in tow because he got 2 immediately after to even up the situation before going down, but it's still Vitality with the advantage.
Yeah, quite a significant one as well. If you think about it now, this is big with a lack of weaponry, and their defense has been spread a lot thinner now in an equal situation where the T's can focus on, let's say, the B bomb site with 3 players, and you could actually just have 1 CT with an MP9 try to defend that. That's why it's such a massive advantage for the T side in this sort of map, as we'll see Zyro smoke towards the window.
And it's not even really like you can go for a stack retake either, because you don't have the weapons for it, but there's no kits.
Yeah.
It's not like you can play the time to try and work in as a unit at the end either. So they are going to have to be completely spread out. And you called it. 3 players toward B against 1. That's exactly what we're going to see. Nex is near enough to the window. You can get toward Catwalk, but MP9 at range, it's not really going to work out for much.
Well, we'll see what he can do. They're eradicating risks here, clearing out the van and the close-range positions, but have they accounted for the bomb site here? They certainly have. Zywoo continues to be a menace here on Mirage as he confirms the round in my book. There shouldn't be a world where Tabs and the Next can win this without any utility or kits up against 3. With the weaponry they have, it just looks like a very unlikely procedure, but that is a great play.
Yeah, great read. As soon as the flash came in, he knew what it meant. They have this. They could push this. MBK's not in a great position. He's got 1 on either side. As soon as he faces behind, Tabson wants to pounce, but he knows shortly that MBK's considered that. He nearly got away with it, but Nex holds on. We're going to have an 8-7 half.
That's huge from Big. They shouldn't have won that round. Vitality with a massive advantage in terms of the firepower and manpower as well, but somehow it will be Big to defuse the bomb without a kit. It is going to be 8-7. We split it right down the middle. A nice lifeline there for Big right at the end. It's good to post around like that at the end of the half, and that's exactly what it is. We'll take a break and be back with the second very shortly.
Show me an opening in the clouds, and I'll take it, yeah. Reminding myself to just let go Don't wonder how far I can fall. Don't look down, never fade out. And I just wanna be someone and never fall.
Underway at 8-7. Vitality in the lead, having done so on the T side, which is interesting to note. And now they'll start off on the CT side with seemingly 4 players ready to battle. RPK has, okay, he's going to do the same. They got 5 sets of Kevlar.
They absolutely do, meaning no kits, and 5 players heading towards the A site for big. It's Zai with a challenge. He's been finding every single kill so far. Doesn't seem to be slowing down as he absolutely eviscerates them at the A ramp there. It's going to be 2 remaining players for big, but they're not going to get the strong start they had in the first half here. Absolutely not. At this point, it's just a question mark whether they find a kill.
That's a fantastic play. Great read. I was about to point out as well that 2 players had smoke on big, so they wanted to go for an A execution. Hey, Vitality seemingly understood that, bought all the armor, got straight in their face, and shut down the A site. So 9-7, and this is what we talked about big coming into this. A lot of teams, or a lot of people, I should say, in Pick'ems, probably not the majority, but a fair few had them at 3-0. You come into the Legend stage halfway through an event. Vitality came into form throughout all of last week, sort of a coming of age in that week to make it into this stage, and now they look pretty hot, I have to say, against big so far.
Well, full eco for big. They will be getting AKs in the third, so this is the double-digit round for Vitality. Just want to try and keep as many up as they can. If one player goes down, actually won't hurt them too much. It means actually you get an extra rifle against the AKs, as Apex will try and farm some cash with that sort of mentality in mind. Ideally gets 2 there for the extra cash. That's $600 in the bank. They should still win the round hands down. Tapson goes down to 1 HP, just to know. So incredibly close to getting $1,200 there and a couple of kills. That's not meant to be. At this point, they'll probably be a little less aggressive.
Just to note as well, MBK's only got 5 kills. Vitality doing the heavy lifting. He's not necessarily the star player, certainly as a protagonist on the team for many reasons. But Xantares kind of is on the other side, and I think he's only got 4.
He's got 5, I believe. He's got 2
okay.
that last round with the MP9. They got his numbers up a little bit. But he was 3 and 13, yeah, 5 and 15 now. So Glock only, probably not going to be increasing that number anytime soon. As he will be dropped. It's up to Next now. He's actually causing some damage yet. A couple of kills in your full eco isn't the end of the world, and Tapson very far removed, but it gives him a chance to chat about the next round coming up. He'll see if he can use his HE at all and find a frag, but at this point I think he knows he's dead. We'll just throw the nade in and hope for the best. Waiting to see if he'll get intel, anyone close. Chuck it in. Not giving anything here, really. Because he'll blow himself up, that's cool. There we go. It will be a reasonably successful round for Vitality, considering up against Glock. Losing 2 is a bit of a pain, but overall, like I said, they can actually get rifles now as they go into round number 18. The AKs and a Krieg for next, just to know. Now, that's a weapon that we didn't see as much of in the previous stage of the tournament. We saw plenty of Orgs, that's for sure, but not many Kriegs. And they've got a couple of them. It's Godby and next. Maybe they've got an inkling as to whether this will be a new meta going forward as well.
There's some talk about it. The popular consensus is that given the rate of fire on the AUG is actually very similar to, if not the identical to the M4, that the Krieg has such a different spray pattern and firing rate to the AK, it's a little bit more difficult to learn, but also that the AK has the one-shot potential still, right? So you're not going to get as much of a benefit from it. But there were a couple of players talking about, you know, if you want to play the angles game, if you want to get out the Krieg, you can certainly play it right back on some of the entries.
And if you're a player like Godby, for example, holding flanks and making sure you're positioned correctly, that could be a fantastic weapon. But there's Antares again struggling as he goes down with no real damage inflicted by himself, not flashed in, just challenged with the AK, and he will be dropped in the 4-on-4 now. 1 minute remaining, Tapson. He's got connecting control. We see Apex holding the palace. A very strong position for the CTs to hold as RPK suspects activity towards connector. Looks like the A player will be coming in. They got 2 players at A ramp and at a connector as they throw in some smokes now. RPK reads it well. Takes down Tabson, one of the main fraggers of the squad. It's up to next now to find his second on this Krieg.
Galil on the opposite side of the spectrum for Tizian. And they'll push the A site. Oh, trying to push out RPK. That was intended actually to go to Shadow. So that won't give him any movement, RPK, though, because they've got either side of it covered off. They don't have Palace, and Apex shows off how powerful that can be. Ooh, Godby, careful. This is where the Krieg, at range, perfect. Headshot onto Zaiwu all the way through. Connector to Catwalk, and next takes down Apex. Bomb planted just for that extra little bit of money, but 8 rounds for big.
Yeah, scrappy round, but they get it done. It's the Kriegs actually proving to be very successful there, especially that shot from Godby towards Shaw. You could see he could take his time and just tap away and make sure it was a clinical headshot there. After the initial kill, we thought Vitality would have the advantage, but Godby and Next pull it right back. The 2 players of the Kriegs get all the kills, as it will be the first round and a half for Big here. They've actually shut down the money pretty reasonably for Vitality as well. They are going to force. They've got 1 rifle in the form of an AUG for RPK. The rest of the players are either an SMG or a pistol. There's 3 CZs out and an MP9. They have no kits and bare bones utility. So Godby is playing a very passive, like I said, holding angles, waiting for pushes. Krieg's the perfect weapon for that, as he'll be seeing if there's any opportunities at the start of the round. Santares waiting for the A push. Got taken down in the Palace last round. This time, Nex is there.
Three in middle, or soon will be if Tizian elects to go all the way down. Heard a smoke, though, toward the B apartments. And I think that encouraged him to go back up and just see if he could play the pick game on it. He's flirting with the idea, but meanwhile, we go back over toward A, right on board with Zantares, going against NBK in the corner. And there's still no real commitment from this. 54 seconds, bomb still in spawn. That smoke goes into the B site toward window. And Tizian certainly heard that they've already used his smoke defensively inside of the apartments. So maybe he's hoping that they won't be able to slow down the rush. The problem is they haven't dissected the fact that there is 3 inside of the site. Great crossfires. Alex even inside of the flames, able to run out of them based on the smoke that's positioned by the truck. This becomes a bit more of a problem. 26 seconds, they still have to go. Jumping Zantares, thankfully will get one when he hits the ground because he could have easily been taken down while he was trying to fly. Remember, they're sponsored by Red Bull now. They've got wings on the big side, but it's going to work out to at least a kill. RPK tries to work back in, AUG in hand. Bomb already conceded, though, at this point in time. And man, oh man, they've made this round extremely interesting. Godby's got to be almost perfect. 26 HP. Lineup can't find the second, but they give away the information. And he is tagged down to 53 for next to go hunting on the Krieg. He's lost track of him, but 2 shots from MBK. Now he knows exactly where he's playing from and what his intentions are to play behind the pillar. And next, with time, starts to dance around to win it out.
Next looks incredibly sharp. Like we said, a lot of players are finding, these days at least, if they find a slump in form, they go on the bench a little bit, work on their individual skill, maybe clear their head slightly. We know he went out for an actual physical injury, but it seems like his wrist is looking incredibly strong today. 20 kills and 12 deaths is a huge round of big to pick up. Once again with the Krieg on the T side. We haven't seen many teams approach the terrorist forces with that weapon, and it seems to be working out very well for them at least. And we go round 20 here, full eco for Vitality. These teams seem very equally matched. Will be taken down though. Couldn't really afford to drop that weapon so early on. I don't think they'll lose the round, but still, he gets out-dueled by a USP at that range. It's not ideal. And Zywoo's got the Krieg now. They could lose to a full eco at this point. This is turning into a bit of a nightmare for Big.
Dontaras has not performed as we would have expected, and certainly not how we've been hearing things. Teammates were saying leading into this event that he's a top 5 player in the world with a bit of time.
Don't have all that much time here at this stage of the tournament.
Yeah, that's the problem. Keep in mind, though, that he's new to this team, but he's not a rookie to the majors.
No, definitely not.
Space Soldiers have been here before. And here's where the Krieg's powerful. I'm not surprised to see Gobby's team of all teams being the one to start using this on the T side. Just holding those angles, waiting for the counter peaks. When they rush in, NBK underneath the window gets one more with the pistol. You're right, they could still be in trouble. Zontara's got the counter kill, but 19 HP left for him. He's easily in position to get taken out and go down. Thankfully, he's held his nerve, and it seems, well, I say it seems, they will on the T side. RPK still in this. 4 HP is all he's got to find. RPK with 24. Oh, Tizzy in with it. Excellent aim. 2 kills for him to clutch back the round 10-10.
Wow, way too close, but Big win it. That's all that really matters. They're going to have a struggle of a buy going forward. And Vitality at the full eco get it down to a 1 versus 1 there. You saw that opening frag from Zywoo. Did so much damage to that Krieg as well. I mean, they've got no armor here. And it comes down to that situation. Way too close for comfort, but it is going to be 10-10. And a tactical timeout for Big as they have to work out how they even invest into this round.
And I think this is almost a perfect time for Vitality to even consider a tactical timeout. So they'll take this with open arms, given that their money it's there for this round, but they have to be very careful about how they go about things because they know that they can break big.
Well, Krieg out, got B with the MAC-10. That's actually a very viable weapon in this sort of round, especially if you're going to group up and make execution play towards B, perhaps. As you'll see, there'll be a few players without helmets on the CT side. Zywoo, glass cannon, no armor at all. He'll get ripped apart. The MAC-10 gets close. And Apex and Alex will also be in a lot of danger if the MAC-10 finds them without the helmets. And it will be a B play, especially if you've got that sort of MAC-10 set up. You want, ideally, him to go in first. It'll be Zantaras, though, with the AK, trying to perform here. And, again, taken down first, as it's up to Gobby to try and pick things up. Remember, this MAC-10 will do a lot of damage against players without armor. There's the first. He can find a second here. He will be traded out in the end. It's going to be a 3 versus 2. Make it 1. Just taps him remaining, but he's certainly capable of winning these sort of rounds out.
To the off in a 1-on-2. When he has to plant the bomb, now he's not even going to get to fire it. Alex just pushes in, denies the plant. And it is Vitality to take the round. This is money gone now again for Big. That's a bold call, I have to say, from Tabson. You'd think maybe even a fake plant with a smoke to your left and then see if he pushes in, but fair enough. He committed to the plant either way. May not have made a difference.
Yeah, didn't work out for him. Certainly had time to play with there. Straight for the plant. Was hoping he could steal that away and then win things out with the AWP. But back and forth we go. Vitality now with a huge upper hand, and there'll be no force buy from Big. Just the eco here as we get into round 22. This is going to go the full distance. We said we wanted a 16-14 game. It looks very likely at this stage. We'll see who comes out on top. I'm not sure at this point. Vitality certainly have the upper hand in this round. Should be going 12-10. But the objective for Big at this stage is get that bomb planted. You can see it will be RPK with a grenade, probably an incendiary in hand. As soon as Alex starts firing from these boxes here, he presumably gets 1 kill, but you've seen the incendiary come through, and it should be quite the cleanup. Incendiary.
Yeah, I saw them jump over. Nice shot. Tabs in. The incendiary is down, then you can see the damage being done as they walk in. Gives Zywoo a shot. He's got taken out by Tabson too. 2-1 Deeks. We're still in a 3-on-3. Guns aren't really grabbable yet. They've got to clear the corners of the site, try and wrap around on, RBK, who ran out of ammo. Wrong time to do it because he was in a perfect position. Thankfully, Apex is in the right place at the right time, but it goes to a 1-on-1. 2 rounds between them. That's going to limit the money a little bit further for Vitality. Also gives Big a chance to get back into it. Tabson's already bought, and they're, well, I mean, that makes it obvious they're going to force at this point, but they could have maybe held for 1 more, because now if they lose, they look at 14 rounds on the board for Vitality.
Well, next we'll have the MAC-10. They've got Godby with no grenades. They're going to have to go. They can see, like, this will be what we call a flash attack round. It's when you go towards the A side, 3 players towards a palace, 1 smoke at spawn. You flash over as much as you can, and they just get the hell out of there. It's Godby to open things up, though. It's a surprise tactic. Zantara, that's more like it. They take a lot of damage in the process, but they are finding kills here with the AK-47s. It's up to Apex to bring things back in Vitality's favor, and that's one hell of a shot. The one bang with the AUG as he continues to find kills here. Zywu that arrives at the scene of the crime just in time. It's going to be 13-10. It looked like Big had that one tied up with the opening kill.
Apex got 1 kill with a bullet he shot the second, maybe less than that, before he was blind, and the second one he was fully blind and had the crosshair placement already there. That's pretty good.
Yeah, it's not bad, is it? It's 23rd frag. RPK with 26 as well, and Zywu gets there just before they can plant. I like the approach from Big. You could see it worked out. Zontaras hits one hell of a shot. They weren't expecting such a fast play, and they had limited resources there, but it doesn't work out, and now they're down to Tech 9 speedy 50s. You said if they lost that round, they were in a lot of trouble, and they found themselves there, right here, as they'll have to try and win this one out with no armor and basic grenades and taking a bit of a nuke towards middle. That's going to be Godby and Tabson down to less than half.
NBK considering Palace, because Apex can't watch it. He's busy holding off Connector. He'll now shuffle further inside jungle, knowing that if one's watching Palace and the other's watching Connector, who's watching A main? Well, no one. So he has to consider the fact that they can be encroaching on that position and try and wrap around. Good flash. Apex still somehow got away with that. I thought that was going to catch him out as well, but Godby goes down. And Godby might have been partially blinded by that as well. So team flashes for Godby this game have not really been something to write home about, considering he's your tactical leader and designs a lot of these plays. He's going to be a little bit annoyed by that, I think.
I think you might be right.
4 kills for Apex in the round. It's now 14 for Vitality.
Update on the A stream, Renegades versus Ents. They are completely splitting the difference as well. It's 12-11 in favor of Ents right now on the T side of Inferno.
If I'm not mistaken as well, that's number 8 versus number 9 in the rankings.
I think
they're
might be right. Let's have a look. I've got it here. So
yeah, they're right beside each other, so that would be the middle. Yep. So that, and Ents slightly ahead of Renegades, even though Renegades actually beat them in the Challenger stage.
That's true. This is a bit of a rematch, isn't it? That's why I thought this would be match of the day, that one.
Yeah, well, and it's proving to be. I mean, they're dead even in the ratings and dead even in the score.
There we have it. Zontaras. 11 now, starting to find more impact in the second half. His AK-47 is where he does his best work as he smokes towards a connect, and then he's surely going to try and get in there. Smoke goes down from window. Needs to be very careful of the swing from Apex here, which is coming in. The flashbang's decent, the shot's even better, and that's Zontaras going down with nothing. Really well timed there. It's a great play from the CTs. Good time flashbang, exposed player, clinical headshot as RPK delivers another. It is going to be round 15 unless Big can pull something magnificent out of the hat here. Molotov means they have to go through the window together, and they're already taking damage. It's RPK who will be dropped, but you can see he set his teammates up so well here, but great shots from Tabson on the low HP. He might be able to keep the dream alive here as he gets another. A 2 versus 2 now. How have they done this? It looked like the round was completely over. Decent execution towards B. The smokes towards the pillars will buy them a little bit of time to establish themselves in the post-plant situation. Tabson on for the ace as the CTs begin their retake here.
Next, oh wow, found by MBK already. Usually a good position to hold the window from. Tabson's taken that information though and counted it off. And he's left unpunished to go against the op. 4 kills. This would be an ace for Tabson. And he's looking like he's going to get it as well. Zywu is going to go for the bomb. That gives Tabson all day to find it. Bomb might deny him of it. Now that he's spotted, he actually will get taken down, so not quite an ace.
No, he hasn't got
I was going to say, he doesn't have the time on that. No way. I was going to say that'd be a massive mistake. It was close. It was extremely close. But Tabson wasn't going to give that up so easily. So it is the 11th round for Big. Keep in mind, to start off Challenger stage, we had, I'm sure of it, a record-setting amount of team kills on day 1. But probably a record-setting amount of aces on the day as well. I think there was something like 6 aces on the first day.
6 aces. You're absolutely right. Tabson, though, that wasn't supposed to be a big round. That was Vitality all day long. That was a 4 versus 2. They head towards B, and somehow, even with 30 points of health, he wins out the round with 4 kills. Call it a 5th at the round victory as well. He took down that CT with a bomb blast. As we get into round number 26, it will be Zywu nailing the jump towards shore. More difficult than it looks as he waits there for footsteps and trying to dodge the flashbangs as well. He actually pushes past the smoke now. You can see Big, even after winning the previous round, still have 2 SMGs here. So they need to win this round before we can talk about a bit of a comeback here, as they all have 3 players, including the bomb, waiting at A ramp. And then we'll have Zonteras and Tabson, your 2 main fraggers of the squad, together in towards that underpass. This is the fragging unit here. This is where the damage will be done. They'll head towards Connector and crack open the site before their teammates make their way through.
Two underneath. Gives boost potential considering there's no one else at top mid, but if they boost, they've got to be very careful of the fact that Zaiwu is right behind them. He spots them, but he doesn't have the AWP ready. Ooh, catch the player going to window. Thankfully, he communicated that as well. He did so much damage. Apex just had to walk out and take a shot. Pretty easy at that point in time. Gobi gets Alex. It's the 2nd kill so far for Big in the round, but they are looking like they are running out of space, running out of health, running out of time in this series. Gobi down to 4 HP, unfortunately, because they couldn't really afford, they had to be perfect almost to pull that back, and he's just going to try and beat them to B, but that looks unlikely at this point as well.
They'll have enough time just about to get there and plant, but will there be a CT waiting for him? I'm not sure there will be. It looks like he's actually done well to even get the bomb planted at least, but this will be a very difficult round for him to win. If he does win it, that's amazing. If he gets a plant, that's enough for at least some weaponry in the next round, because it is going to be the 15th on the board for Vitality. Bomb planted, and got B now. He is a bit of a master in these sort of situations. He's certainly not the biggest fragger in the scene, but in these sort of situations where he gets time to think and how he can outplay his opposition, his brain is there. It's very good.
Trouble is, he's put himself in a very one-and-done position. Highly tradable. Or is it? Easy headshot, they're not together. He now has the bomb working in his favor. Zaiwu just barely gets underneath the van, and
good try.
He'll pull it back. 15-11, you're right, it was a good try.
The fact he gets that even 1 kill there and makes things uncomfortable, it's enough. They're going to be able to buy next round. You can see there was no kid as well. If he even somehow delayed that for 5-6 more seconds, it might have been a chance there. But got B, enough for a plant. That's fantastic, I think. The fact they were so far out of this round, he managed to give them a bit of money at least. It's not all done in round 27, but it's not looking good either. They're going to need 4 in a row just for overtime here, as we'll see Big take another tactical timeout. And they've got on average, it's not looking good, around 3K at this point. The very top of the table's got B, of course, with those 3 kills and the plants. He will have $3,850. The rest of them all hovering around 2,200. So a lot of work to be done here. 1 round costed them the game, and that'll be Vitality going 1-0 here. Remember, they started 0-4 Vitality, and they've brought it right back.
Yeah, they have. Absolutely. And this is a challenger team taking on a legend team and potentially getting the win. Avoiding for Vitality, the minors at the very least. Obviously, there's a much bigger goal at stake here, but that is certainly something that in the future they'll realize is worth it.
Oh, yes. A execution. Smoke's over, boys. Send those pistols in. Got B with the rifle. Now, that is when you've got Tabs and Zontaras there, presumably you'd want them on the rifles, but this is the way they've probably practiced, and it's the way they're going to play. Gobi had the most amount of cash. He keeps the rifle and allows his stars to use the pistols here. Zontaras, to be fair, 11-25, not playing up to that star potential just yet.
No, this isn't quite what we would have expected from him at all. Still has 72 ADR, which isn't tragic considering.
He's had a lot of damage. He'll have lots of one-on-one duels, but the problem is he'll get like 90 damage in, but he loses the duel from what we've seen almost every time. So that hasn't been what we're used to seeing from him.
Smoke's already down at mid and B. It looks like the split is the call, but Alex easily already standing on catwalk. Double smoke behind him. He's limited from the site, but he just easily can cover off catwalk with the scope on the AUG. Zaiwu still inside quad watching first window, has a player at bench in the form of RPK as well that'll play off of him. First shot goes his way, second one spraying in, massive damage, RPK adds to it, Alex has Gobi, and it's done. 16-11 for Vitality, and they look pumped about that. Rightfully so.
I think so. That was actually a very good performance from them, especially in the second half. They managed to get off the 0-4 and look very efficient in the gun rounds there. It seemed like they weren't really under pressure at any point, especially towards the end of the game. They had a real huge upset with the reset towards the end after winning 4 rounds in a row, and it seemed like it was just a done deal at that point. Big not looking their usual selves, so we expect them to be a very tactical team with some stars in there. We saw some great moments from Tabson and Nex. That was good to see Nex returning to form, especially that Krieg as well, some fantastic moments there. But Zontares, unfortunately, if you want to be the star, you're also going to be under the spotlight when things aren't going too good for you.
Yeah, absolutely. And Nex is the player that obviously came back in after the whole Smooya thing.
Yeah.
And they decided to bring him to this major. In fact, many websites still had Smooya listed. I think Wikipedia still had that.
It's the same thing we had with the
Golden
other teams.
M's also.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
It's that sort of thing going on. So they don't have a coach behind them, I don't think. So that's the same situation.
Yeah, well, nonetheless, it's a fantastic performance from him. Great to see him back in the lineup performing well, because he's certainly someone who fell off of form last year. But overall, yeah, Zontares didn't do much. The other guys stepped up. They get the win. That's the first and foremost. That's the goal. On the Vitality side, Zontares is going to have to really dig deep and make sure that they get him firing if they want to make it through at this point. Because, again, Big comes into this. I think everyone's highly rating them. I still kind of have them on the edge.
I think after seeing that, I might feel the